Oh, sup, JBen and 13? How's it going? I just realized I don't even have the game open yet. Oh no! Oh. I don't know. How are you guys always here? It's low key impressive. How? What are your secrets? Oh, 13. That's my secret. I'd never leave. Joke's on you, JBen. I check. Thanks to you lurking that one time, I now check. I have nothing stressful and busy, I mean. Ah, that's good. The chances are low, but never zero. Jesus, that sounds so scary. Oh my god! Aw, Angels of Death is a nice game. Sup, fish? How's it going? I don't know if I can play RPG Makers on stream though. I feel like my brain is too small. But yeah, how is everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. Oh, just to play airsoft? I thought you were gonna say like to explore and stuff. I would have loved to explore an abandoned town near an old ammunitions factory. Javen, that sounds so fun. I just wouldn't shoot airsoft guns because I feel like I would anger something there. Ah, that's fair. Come on. Come on, game. I know you want to behave. Come on. Come on now. You're open. I see you. Here, game. Psst, psst. Yay, it worked! Jaden, you called it! You called the game and it worked! Rough Overwatch test match today, but doing fine. Fair enough, fish. Fair enough. The game is a cat. We need to it. Let's go! 13, thank you for the water. Okay, start of Zach's route. Let's go. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commanding gaze, Ma's tender smiles. The sunlight filtering through the eaves. Eaves? Eves? In the morning. And the distant smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room. Our room. Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too eventually. But we ain't allowed in there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. There's a height limit to be in the kitchen? I'm assuming it's the kitchen. I'm gonna cry. Not until we've learned how to take care of ourselves and not to burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted. It's called a stool. There's nothing wrong with this stool. Please.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
Sup, Cappy, bro? How's it going? The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The walls more foreboding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa...
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time.
Sweetie!
Don't go.
I can't hear Pa. Not above the raucous clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. Yeah, 13. Zachary only grew up with his grandparents and older sister. It never revealed what happened to his parents until now. When my foot slips, the Red Sea that catches me is bitter and frigid. But the blood that drips in my hand is warm. Warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. Sup, Ski? Good luck with today. Yes, yes, yes. And good luck with Friday. Emma. It takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the room. Despite the pleasant chill that the AC brings, my shirt is clinging to me tightly and my blanket a tangled mess around my throat. Why is it around your throat? Zachary? But yeah, Ski, I hope you're doing well. Yes, yes, yes. Morning has not even arrived, and yet...
Way too early for this thing, man.
And too long. Too long since I've last woken up, drenched in my own sweat, head littered with thoughts that are gone as soon as my eyes open. All too often, my only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me for the rest of the day, or until my mind forgets about it. Egad, whatever comes first. Yet vivid or not, what little I can remember does not matter. Regardless, the desperation sticks, clawing up, pushing, urging me to relive every moment, every sensation, and... There's a twinkle in Ma's eyes when she looks up from her work, flour dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafts from the oven as soon as Pa opens it, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. He reaches up to wipe the small beads of sweat away from his forehead, before gesturing for me to come closer the moment he spots my little hiding place behind the door. I expected him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within his arm's reach is encouraging enough. We'll have to taste these first before we put them up for sale tomorrow. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? His family ran a bakery? A knock cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out of the kitchen when Pa moves to answer it. But I know what waits outside. The taste of blood is in my mouth. The taste of blood in my mouth sends an unpleasant churning in my gut. Ma's apron crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps back into place. My bed remains in utter disarray. The walls still need a new paint job, and the wall clock ticking opposite my bed is as unsettling as ever. Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had the chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there are miles apart. Calm down. Breathe.
The pressure of my own fingers against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. It never really did anything to stave? I'm guessing it's supposed to be starve off the headache. To stave off the headache to follow after this before, but it grounds me. A little reminder that I'm safe, away from the place I once called home, from Ma and Pa's. The urgency with each rap that follows finally chases away the ghost threatening to hang around. Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone else's door this late confuses me. Nana would chase them all away with a broom if she was here. But no matter, it's a welcome break from the thought about to take a morbid turn if left festering. It's probably just Ash anyway, looking for a place to crash. Looking for a place to crash. Wonder of wonders why he's bothering with the courtesy when he never did so before. Even with that hunch, though, habit compels me to check who it is first, through the peephole. Better safe than sorry, they say. Except the person that greets me on the other side ain't him. Unless his hair grew longer overnight and he started wearing a ponytail, of course, which I highly doubt will happen anytime soon, no matter how funny that looks in my head. I waste no time opening the latches.
Isabella, it's late.
Oh, a safe haven! That's just the achievement I unlocked. There's something I can't quite pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Her face is a pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavily, and an uncontrollable shaking in her hands she's trying to hold back. Hide if I didn't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry, I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you were the closest to my office, and...
Oh, she lived! Let's go!
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now. Do you want to come in?
Wait, this is his apartment? Oh, dang, it's clean. I thought this was an office space.
Is it alright? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought... I have no idea why I went here. My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and... Sorry.
She trails off, her voice lost in the muggy night air. I wait for her to say more, but instead her only response is a downward shift of her gaze, back to her still trembling hands, as if the motion alone is enough for an explanation. A minuscule gesture. Easy to miss if one is not paying attention. But for someone who has seen the same expression on the mirror, done the same thing too many times when night terrors are inevitable, it is not.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you not. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it.
Ash fits on that couch?
I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal. Besides, you already know you can count on me whenever.
Oh. Without waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over to the kitchenette. For a good few seconds, only the clinking of plates can be heard above the constant tick-tock. Late as it may be for a snack, the familiar motions keep me occupied, steering my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Isabella's company is not unwelcome either. Whatever her reasons for showing up here at such an hour doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I just turned her away, frazzled as she is. The door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet scuffling softly against the tiled floor. In all the years I've known her, she has never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yet in this particular moment, as she stands in my doorway, holding her arms close to herself, it's as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I've come to know all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything? I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
Just water will do, please. Thanks, Zach.
Oh.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway. Feel free to make yourself at home. You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually she'd have something more to say about that. A quip, a witty remark to provoke a laughter or two. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch, and a silence that stretches out until we are left hanging, feeling disconcerting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking, if only to keep the dead air at bay. How is one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this?
Anyway, Gigs. Can you believe this one client we got? Boss had all my scheduled shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property. Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world. The world itself moves for you, huh?
She's curled up on one side of the couch and hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwiches and the water she requested. She starts to straighten up as I'm unloading the contents, but pauses as soon as I hold up my hand in a halting gesture.
You're a guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home?
Yep, he's talking about Hannah and Luke.
Here's your water. Careful.
The rights. The tremor in her hand, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. I give her a questioning look, but she is quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied by taking small gulps of water. Or maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions. Worrying. This sudden loss for words, this bout of quiet, not normally present in our chats. Even the creaking of the old chair when I usually take the seat is a welcome break. Although the company is familiar, this has gone way past unnerving.
What happened? Overtime at work?
You can say that. She doesn't answer immediately. Another gulp drains her glass of its remaining contents. One would think it would be enough to help her recover, yet she doesn't use her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it on her lap. Her eyes take an unfocused gaze when she speaks again.
Yeah. Boss handed me extra work today. After what happened to Rose.
Rose? Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker. That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks then. A little memory from the night before. The bright red light from the dark room, the strong odor of the stop bath, the television's barely audible murmur in the background, and the glimpse of a bloody room. No. Hannah was calling Rebecca. Yeah, that was Becca 13. Rose is Isabella's coworker. Green hair and green eyes. The news is everywhere, even in the morning that follows. The first person to die of the curse. I just didn't think its effects will strike someone this close to me.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope it will. Things might become a little busier for me, though.
Oh.
She left a lot of things unfinished, and I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works. Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this. Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
Laughs nervously and taking midnight jogs.
It's just for today.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
I stay in my neighborhood. For the most part. And I keep the run at 10 minutes max, 5 minutes minimum. The vehement tension in her voice makes me pause, and it It is in this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart, if only for a short while. Besides, being outside might be safer than my house once in a while. Well, no, sometimes. Right then and there, I understood what's hiding behind her unfocused stare from the moment she arrived. Fear. Pure, unalterated fear. Oh man, I can't read right now. I am too out of it. It's disturbing to see such marring her usual upbeat countertints. With a sigh, I cross the small distance separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller against the couch is telling me enough.
Bella, this ain't just about your coworker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
The sound of glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. In a span of a few seconds, her breathing grows labored.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
She claps her hand over her ears, pressing it tightly against the sides of her head. Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please, please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now. I can't shake it off. Everywhere it's...
Yeah, 13, I saw what you said before.
Everywhere's not safe and...
Alright, Isabella. Look at me. Look at me.
My hands are firm on her shoulder when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force of will to ignore the terror in her eyes in favor of taking control of the situation. No need to apologize. I appreciate the information. Too close, too similar.
Breathe. Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Stay in the present. I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you.
I feel bad for Zach because he just woke up from his own nightmare only to having to comfort someone else from theirs.
Do you want to talk about it?
The force with which she shakes her head is enough reason to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please, no more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Kate, no more talking. I won't ask anymore. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods lightly before retreating into herself again. No more words were exchanged after that, and I take that as my cue to start cleaning the shards littering the floor before either one of us gets hurt. The quiet hum of the AC is a pleasant distraction as I go over the menial task. It's fine, 13. They use a lot of nicknames in this anyways. Oh, he has a fish floor mat. Welcome mat, I just realized this. More so than her too ragged draws of breath, or my little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the latter does the trick. And soon enough, she has already drifted off by the time I return with the promised glass of water, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm, the strain on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. She mumbles something I don't quite catch when I carry her to the empty bed, and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact that she appears relaxed, the small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay with her longer. Because no matter what promises I've made, this is the kind of fear no person could shield her from. I should know. There are still questions left to be answered. But the late hour, coupled with the sudden exhaustion, made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Darkness immediately welcomes me as soon as my head hits my makeshift pillow. I can only wish the dreams will keep at a distance for now, for both of us. The first few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it became one of those nights when sleep passes like a blink and is plagued with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritty burning sensation from my eyelids. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but the night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in subtle gray hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice, just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Groggily, I scramble for the bag sitting at the foot of the bed. The ringing still hasn't stopped, even as I fish the phone out, and Ashton's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Took you long enough, Z-Man.
Sup, Mozzie? And welcome back, 13. Aww, this one fits Zach right now. No one knows how hard he's trying. But yeah, Mozzie, I hope you're doing well. Apologies if I don't sound as upbeat as I usually do.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet.
Glad to hear that you're doing well.
Stop calling me Z-Man.
13, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well as well.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
Well, actually, it's 20 minutes past 6. Excuse me.
You want to talk? Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Dang.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want to.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour. Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off. Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
They're like worried parents.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper woman from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Listen, Ash, about Bella.
I let my voice trail off, unsure how to go about recounting last night. If I should even say anything to him. Fair enough, Mozzie. Good luck on your schoolwork, J-Bent. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever's bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. Oh, that's true. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred her the night before. Sometime during her sleep, she pulls up a blanket over herself and tucked into it comfortably. Like this, it's easy to forget the horror in her eyes, or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for her firm grip on the edge of the covers, she appears nearly as normal as she would any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something, the worry, The concern must have surfaced in my tone, because his own shifts then. Carefully, as if he's preparing for the worst.
Look, you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh, why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kinda knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that. And with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out.
Oh,
You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't think... Okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that. I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
So something's wrong then?
Zach really do be doing their best.
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get the story out of her.
Really? I thought you'd learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face.
I would have thought this would have been a choice whether to tell Ashton what happened or not. I'm surprised that Zachary's just telling it.
I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there. We were walking 1 second, and then the next, she's crying out. I'll be straight with you. That scared me shitless.
It bothered him if the way he falls silent after his telling. But whatever his opinion is stays absent from his voice when he speaks again. He's always been good with that, hiding what he thinks.
Did she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
No!
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
But Ash has a crush.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know that Scared Cat's fine. Bye.
He drops the call before I can even get a word in. And for several minutes after, I find myself simply listening as the rest of Luxembourg rouses. The increasing sound of passing traffic, the bustle of the nearby shops preparing for the day, and the growing clamor of the people while they go about their morning. Not the most soothing sounds to hear following a troubled night, but the routine puts me at ease nevertheless. What's comforting, what's safe, what I'm used to. Nearby, Isabella shifts but doesn't wake, blissfully unaware as the city slowly stirs itself back to life. Was her night as restless as the one I had? Were her dreams as lucid? In hushed moments like this, I envy her. Unreasonable, probably a little unfair, to say such in a light of last night. If only forgetting is as easy as breathing. A small yawn escapes me when I rise from the couch to stretch. Luckily, the short conversation with Ash has effectively driven me away any will to go back to bed. I still have a day to get through despite the proverbial ghosts hanging around. The orange bottle sitting at the edge of my table is reassuring against my palm the instant I pick it up. The sterile odor of capsules equally so. Yet the weight they carry is something I've never gotten used to. Years ago, I'd spend minutes, heck, even hours staring at a single pill prior to taking one in. Okay, this is a friendly reminder to everyone to take their medications. Please do. They're important. They're prescribed to you for a reason. Yes, yes. Now it's just a routine, a way to stave off the unwanted nightly visits. Although I didn't think Dr. Navarro will be quite pleased if he ever finds out I'm relying on them again. I do owe him a visit. Regardless, after missing our appointments on purpose and ignoring his calls for weeks. Another sigh comes out tired and weary, and then I pop the tablet into my mouth.
Zach? What time is it?
The bottle in my hand hits the table with more force than necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there are some things I'd rather keep to myself.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
Oh, he's hiding it from them, sweetie. She answers the question with a long drawn-out yawn, one reminiscent of a child. A chuckle manages to come out of my mouth at the sight. In this manner, it's easy to mistake her for someone too young for responsibilities. Inexperienced and immature even. Easy to forget she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dreams can afford, to overlook how surprisingly observant she can be at times. Maybe not on the same level Ash exercises for his investigations or Rebecca needs for her own work, but it's certainly enough to deftly put what she sees around her on canvas. And if the way her eyes flicker to the table in my hand says something, it is that I won't be able to avoid the questions this time.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed, though.
My doing. You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana would give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime. Although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot, I don't really mind. We might have less wiggle room if all four of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Fine or not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble, especially since you don't seem to be...
A concerned expression passes over her features as she spares another cursory glance over the table, back to the bottle holding every small piece of what keeps the bad memories at bay. The blood blooming over Pa's heart, the horrified look on Ma's face as she watches him fall lifeless to the ground, and every ounce of spite seeping from the stranger's smile. You don't belong here. You monkeys don't belong here. It never stops, does it?
Well, you don't seem to be feeling well.
Dang.
Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
She makes a slight gesture with her head towards the bottle, asking a question without really asking. Subtlety has never been one of her greatest assets, but right now, even Ash would have been a little amazed, if not a loss for words at that. She has left it up to me whether I'll give her the response she wants to hear or not. I'll tell her the truth. But it's never easy, ain't it? Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be, not by a long shot. Not when I've let it stay this way for so long. I realized that long ago, when the wounds are still fresh, and the dreams are a nightly occurrence. Can't force yourself to get better or move on to better things. It is what's normal now, and I can only cope. The question in her eyes may be unwarranted, born simply out of curiosity and sincere concern for her friend. I don't owe her an explanation, in fact. But of all the people I keep close in my life, she's probably one of the very few who perhaps I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely. I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her, and giving too much of what I can. However, for all her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me out. And that is all I can ask of her.
My bad. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
The pills rattle lightly against the container when I gently set it back to its usual place. Always the small area closest to my laptop, near the right hand. Within reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's. Do you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right?
Oh, Isabella.
I can run real quick and...
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. But Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything from him.
Zach has PTSD. And yeah, he's a bit depressed, yeah.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
No, I need to get this off my chest eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started, yeah?
Or, what's it called again? Highest chance he has... Yeah, that's very true. Robin Williams is a big example of that. I know there's another type. But yeah, highest chance he has the form of PTSD where it's a bunch of bad things over the span of a few months in quick succession, and yeah, that can also be a form of PTSD. It doesn't have to be one big event. It can just be a lot of tiny ones as well.
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open, and her smile honest. As if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day. I forget what it's called, though. I know it's common in children. In child abuse cases. Yes, yes. It is far from one, but her unreserved air is enough to stamp down the twinge of unease that threatens to come up.
Let's hear it then.
And she does. True to her word, she listens while the story spills out of my mouth. Of my ma and pa, that little old diner across the pond, and what it left in me that day. I can't recall most of it now, my own account jagged, with a few missing details here and there. The passing years have eroded most of my recollection of the whole incident. All except for that one moment in the kitchen. The ringing of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Ma's hysterical screams from the moment Pa's body hits the floor motionless, his lifeblood flowing out from under him. and the gunman. He was smiling. He was smiling when Pa opened the door to welcome him. He was smiling when he put a bullet into Pa's chest and Ma's head. I've heard stories of how the world can be a cruel place for people like us before. I never believed until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news. A few days after, Ma and Pa were laid to rest. And we have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me.
Oh no!
They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
I expected questions. Mostly those brimming with childlike curiosity, and maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But to her credit, she just sat there, lent her ears, and looked at me with no expressions, or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears wiser and older like this, easier to see the breadwinner in her. Her younger siblings are lucky to have her. When I'm done, after everything's been said, she wraps her arms around me, a bit awkward considering the gap in our heights, but it gets her sentiments across. That's not surprising, honestly. In some areas in the Philippines, sometimes gunshots are just a regular occurrence in the night. So depending on the area she lived in, back in the Filipinas, it could be a story that hits close to home. But it's difficult to answer this in kind, if I am even supposed to reciprocate the gesture, even in my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I braced myself for, but it's obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Not really. Other people have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
Damn! You've opened up to people about that and they said mean things? Wait, actually, no, that's not surprising. I've had that happen.
Oh, okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry, I'm not very good with this.
Pat his head. Sup, 13?
Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
But not right now?
Yeah, not right now. But I'm ready. Like today.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah?
I feel like Rebecca would be more angry that you didn't tell her sooner.
Whew. Surprisingly, it feels good to get that one out my chest. I was a little afraid you'd be angrier. I didn't tell you earlier than today.
Oops. Hello?
I'm not angry. I'm just surprised. You didn't look like it. I wouldn't have suspected.
People are good at hiding.
I suppose that's how it often is, isn't it? We all have our... what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons? But this is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Something passes in her face, brief, fleeting, and disappears right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine. Look, about last night... Never mind. This isn't a good time. But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
Yeah, I'm tiny, but I can still hold your hand. I should be relieved. Her words are more than reassuring to my ears. These should be comforting in hearing those alone, and knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever go bad. But somehow, I find myself worrying more for her instead. I'll make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. But this is a dance I know all too well, and with her, I doubt forcing her to say something would yield any results. As much as I want to imitate Ash, there's only so much I can ask with that won't result in something a little over disastrous. At least she'll stop. At best, so she'll stop talking to me until a week passes. That's not good. At worst, I'd rather not risk it. I've never seen her angry. Outright annoyed, maybe, and often directed at Ash, but never furious. What do they say again about the happiest people when angered? Besides, it'd be unfair to her after our little chat.
So, food then?
Longanisa? Tocino? Eggs? She seems relieved at the brisk change of subject, and as if it's been simply waiting for its cue all this time, her stomach rumbles at the mention of food. Rather loudly, as a matter of fact. Welcome, J-Bent.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now.
I hope that your work went well.
Better be quick, though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me. I'm not that hungry. Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry, it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks.
Fair enough, 13. You should focus on school. Ah. Fair enough, J-Bent. I hope your programming duck works.
I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
It's a Filipino thing. The soft laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. The answer is neither. Because if she stays idle, she'll remember.
On second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm about? I'll have you know, I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
Do they, J-Bent? Do they?
Sure you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Still can't believe you named him Duck in Tagalog. Uh-oh. Did the game crash? Hello? Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Between us, the constant clapping of the knife against the board, and the muffled noise from the television and I left running, words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual, we've had moments like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else will come knocking at the door. No, it's like calling the Nile. It's like how the Nile River is called the Nile River, and the Sahara Desert the Sahara Desert. So we have the desert, and the river. I really wish someone else would come knocking at the door. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That has always been Isabella's or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash's, although most coming from him, border on awkward or embarrassing. Oh, and Canada! Canada translates to home. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back, and I'm willing to bet my entire yearly salary that he fell right back to sleep after that call.
Sorry, Bella. Could you
I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down.
Is Ash finally knocking?
Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
You're right, Javen. Ash is a ghost. Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from the oven. Oh no, it's even worse. He's never been really keen with the notions of courtesies after he's warmed up to you, this guy. All 13 of my locks he broke can attest to that. He broke 13 of your locks? You better have paid for them, damn! He's a good fellow, though. Is he? Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy. Tell that to the 13 locks. Why would you break them? They're easy to pick. Javen, why would you say that? What do you mean they're easy to pick?
Don't you have work today?
Maybe he prefers smashing them.
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Izzy, man.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Sorry, I got caught with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
We don't have to feed him, do we?
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else.
Any door lock cheaper than $50 is usually only a 5-pin lock. They're easy to pick, and most are prone to bad methods like rake picking. Ah, okay, that's fair.
Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
Wait, we're going now?
But food! He lightly claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. He's kidnapping her? Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they can even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down, and the force alone is enough to halt both of them and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made for a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabella giving him an indignant pout over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once, two things that rarely ever grace it if he can help it. A rare moment even for our small group. If only I had my camera with me. Dang.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
Dang! Ash, a home-cooked meal is better than a bought meal. You're not taking Isabella from her food.
But the food! It's Zach's cooking. Real delicious food that actually tastes like food.
Yeah, Isabella gets it. Let's go.
At least stay and have a bite, please.
No, he should leave.
Zach, help me here.
These two, whenever they're in the same room, sometimes it feels like herding a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. Yeah, right? Especially since that she helped out with cooking as well. Like, bruh, no. I'm eating. I'm eating the food we made. I'm not eating something made in like a fast food restaurant. No. I want my friends cooking. Please. We made it together. It's made with love. One moment they're engaged in a pleasant chit-chat, and the next they're bickering over a minor issue. Food is not a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better, and I have an overactive imagination, I'd say there's something going on. Ash has a crush on her, and I think Isabella is oblivious to it. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Or it might be just me reading too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash's laughter if I so much as suggest such. Oh my god, wait, how would he react if you decide to call him out on his crush? Nah, Zach! You
I
cooked!
don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a waste. Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed hams you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it, too.
Bro, you said you hardly had anything in your fridge. What? The oven timer dings. I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over to the kitchen, mittens in hand. The sweet smell of the glaze and salty tang of melted cheese wafts through the air as soon as I open the door and take out the 2 trays inside. The scent immediately fills the entire room, and even with the door and window open, the mouth-watering aroma lingers. It's appealing enough that when I put the dishes down on the counter, another starved stomach protests loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. Zach is a big dude. His too much and our too much are not the same. Yeah, but he also purposely cooked enough for Isabella, so I wouldn't be surprised if he made a lot. My head snaps at the 2 of them, and I can't keep back a smile at the sight they make. Isabella's clinging to the door frame for support, doubled over with breathless laughter. Ash is the more composed of the 2, trying to look unconcerned, but a flush has crept up on his neck and cheeks. Oh, his it's Ash's tum-tum that rumbled this time. It's clear whose stomach that came from, and Isabella's not going to let him live this down.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything.
Yes, suffer, Ash.
Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Pinch his cheeks, ruffle his hair, steal his coat.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Aren't you Mr. Protein Bar in your car? Come on. You have snacks lying around.
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Who's gonna get cold if we keep this up?
He's treating them like dogs.
Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
Aww. We eventually settle down after the food's been served up. The jive's replaced by another round of friendly chatter, mostly about what's on the news the night before. There is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently on the headlines. Zach is such a dad. Let's go. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food in polite company. This case in particular. The wounds are too fresh, too soon. I'd likely avoid it as well if I were in her position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching the topic is when the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then, we are careful. Ash and I wish someone would look at me the way Isabella looks at food. She looks so cute. We keep the conversation light and avoid bringing up her late business partner. It's the least we could do.
The Wrights? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned. It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry, I was a little out of it yesterday. Was it the photo shoot?
Yep, it's actually for the one you sold. Ermite, something.
Ermengarde Mansion.
When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. Then they're more influential than I initially thought. Man, I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself. Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes after all.
True.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but...
But it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
You can say fishy, Ash. A slip of the tongue. Still barely noticeable to someone who's already familiar with Ash's ways, yet in this moment, it's impossible to miss. I shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it. Rather pointedly.
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
Well, it's 1 hour until 6 for you.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office.
Oh, J-Ben, have you had dinner yet? You should have din din. Yes, yes.
If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Officially off our instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Hour?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
Fair enough, J-Ben. Do you have any idea what you're gonna eat? Because I know that my favorite meal is being made right now. And I'm salivating just thinking about it. It's been so long since I've had kare kare.
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
Sup, Shade?
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
He made a pressure cooker explode?
What? How did you...
That's Ash. we like teasing him and calling him Ashhole. How are you, Shade?
Oh, come on, Zach.
He somehow made a pressure cooker explode. I'm afraid of him.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
Okay, it's better than bad. Yo, the game literally introduced him as Ashhole, and I love it.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
That is true. That is true. But they said it exploded, not imploded. Wait, it made it to the news?
A one-time thing. And it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Don't let this man into the kitchen, holy!
Hey, that was an accident.
What? How did he set a fire?
You were making a salad, Ash.
He started a fire making a salad? Oh my god, I wanna know this. I wanna know the story.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
No. This is interesting, please. It helps the casual talk, the harmless teasing. The mundane story is interesting enough to let time pass unnoticed. That's Homer Simpson levels of cooking. Yeah, when Homer poured a bowl of cereal, it caught on fire, didn't it? I agree with Javen. This is an amazing topic. By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at the forefront of my mind. If it's the same for Isabella, for whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they aren't easily seen, ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach.
See, at least Homer Simpson has an excuse of he's a cartoon character. Ashton does not.
I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys he tosses over to her. But he doesn't give her an answer and waves her for her to go ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
He looks pretty cartoon to me.
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Touche, Shade. Touche.
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you.
Oh man, a Filipino driver? Sweetheart, no. The lines are just suggestions in the Philippines. Please don't drive in Luxembourg. Bold of you to assume that Ash knows basic cooking hygiene. And he did bother to wash them.
See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
A grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while after we're left alone, Ash goes wholly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps in the hall to fade. The earlier amusement is gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation. Ooh, an idea. Oh no! Why would he try to make vinegar in someone else's kitchen? I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shite about to go down at some point soon.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
Okay, so he is investigating the rights.
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple. I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
He nods, claps a comforting hand on my back, and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good at with those. More often, he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his actions alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but he doesn't turn it. Instead, he looks back and gestures with his head towards the table. I don't need to follow his line of sight to know what he's going to ask about. He's likely taken notice of it the moment he entered the room.
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
Oh no, she's a teacher and she's hard to please? Oh, I pray for her students with the projects she gives.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell. Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
This time, when he reaches for the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. A mild draft sweeps through the room as I close the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. That's actually a good question. I never looked at it. Okay. We have full bar with Isabella. Let's go. Okay, Hannah, it's above average. Marianne, we haven't talked with her. Rebecca, normal. Ash, it's a little bit higher, and Luke, normal. Okay, with Hannah, we just ruined her relationship with her husband. And yeah. With Isabella, we really messed up with Marianne because Isabella does not know how to ask about cats. Dang, girl. Okay. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Same! Especially since that she was protective about cats when she was talking with Miss Hannah. And like, oh, this manor would be much better than being held by a crazy cat lady. Agreed. Ermengarde Mansion, H. Wright, 11 a.m. for luxury living. After Ashton's warning, they all hold a different meaning now. October 27, Thursday. Oh. The next 2 days rush by in a blur, altogether leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up, and unexpected acquaintances or friends. I don't know, Shane. Is it a bad quiet? Oh. I'm just low profile, okay? I try to keep everything green. Depends on how you look at it, really. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos at 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an over-eager art director. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good, has a vision, and knows what he wants, but damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There is nothing new in it, of course. After years of working as a freelance photographer, it's simply something I have grown used to. Oh. Interesting. No, but Jabin, I'm assuming you only have like one stream up, while Shade has multiple streams up. It could be also because of my mic quality and stuff as well. Fascinating. After years of working as a freelance photographer, it's simply something I have grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work, and cash in some late hours if need be. I'm using a headset, bro. Rinse and repeat. It's just really quiet, even the game. Ah, but it's okay. Fair enough, Shade. To be completely fair, I have to remove everything when I stream from my desk so that I can put my keyboard back and I can sleep on my bed again. I cry. It certainly takes a while to get some footing on the field, but it's the kind of thing that pays off in the long run, as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with some big names on your client list. Ah, fair enough, Shade, fair enough. Names like the Wrights in particular. I never did pay much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when a local news channel or paper has something to say on their name. J-Vent, no! A party here, an acquisition there. Sometimes it's a new business venture. Other times it's the everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Besides, given my situation, I kind of need to keep all the stuff I own to a minimum. Cry. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. And between that and the fuss that comes with it, it leaves me no time to ponder over what happened to Isabella, or why Ash is so adamant we keep her away from the pair. Nope. In fact, it's degrading. Let's go. That's why I've been in a sour mood lately.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
Oh shit, I tried to be positive, but then I almost cried. Oh no! Let's not talk about my situation. Let's focus on the supernatural. Let's go. Sure, was a rumor running around years ago about him being involved in some business scandal. But just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it. And eventually, it simply died down. Is this about Luke? Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, and I doubt a woman like Miss Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. I still don't know what Hannah sees in Luke. Miss Wright, Hannah herself, though. She ain't particular bad the way the press makes her out to be. The tabloids had it all wrong, that's for sure. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I least expected from her, but here we are. Although with a life as public as the Wrights, no wonder it's the woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. But I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might have even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabella too, if they weren't living worlds apart. I'd argue that she's kind of friends with Rebecca, due to their history. Probably. The beep quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel any further. In one practice motion, I carefully place the wet print I'm holding on a drying rack and amble over my makeshift dark room to get the last photos from the water bath. Yeah, Hannah's growing on me, while Luke is the desire to harm him. He awakens violence in me, and that's rare. Inside the converted broom closet, the film processor lets out another soft clack before going on its standby mode. At its mouth, a lone photograph sits on the tray, barely visible with the lack of light. Okay, we're gonna get a photo jump scare. Let's go. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. He does seem to be changing. Yo, imagine he's actually possessed by the ghost and that's why he's becoming nicer. That's my theory, and I am going with it. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. I don't usually make this habit, giving away stuff that is. It's bad for the business, no matter how well-intentioned or generous you are. This exception, however, she did treat me well, and was a pleasant companion all throughout the shoot. Luke is so bad that when the evil ghost possesses him, he gets nicer. Yes! Let's go! Pardon. She did treat me well, and was a pleasant companion all throughout the shoot. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Miss Wright ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. And maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything at the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, and a plenty big mansion to call home, she's lonely. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles. Always hidden behind the glamour of the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these help a little. A little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on another tray holding a decent amount of photo flow. A few seconds under the solution is all it needs before it's ready for drying. No good rushing this last one, even if my body is already screaming for some decent snooze. My hand fumbles for the light switch, moving towards it with familiarity, while I fish for a squeegee among the mess of tools on a drawer with the other. The bulb flickers twice before its glow settles and casts a soft light in the tiny space. When I glance back down, squeegee in my hand, ready to finish the process and finally call it a night.
What on earth?
Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The area completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smile the good woman carried in all her previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
A common mistake to make, of course, if one is negligent enough to pick a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. It has happened before. Loads of times, actually. But I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I reach up for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
Bro, just say that it's a pleasure and that you just say your honest feelings about it, dude. Like whenever the people say they appreciate me, I'm like, dude, it's the least I can do. Like it's an honor to support people. If you're happy with what you're doing and what you're doing is making you happy, like yeah, of course I'll support you, and other people will too. Yes. A memory clicks, one cursory thought in the sea of many, and a short yet distinct second from the day before. A glimpse is all I got, but it's enough to burn the image in my mind. There was a shadow. No. A woman. In her 20s, or early 30s maybe. Fair enough, J-Ben. But yeah, it's nice to hear someone say that to you. Yes. But with how far her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first glance. Yeah! We can fix her! It's fine! The skin itself has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and laceration on her body. It's a wholesome, happy ghost girl! Let's go! Jabin, honestly, when you told me you started streaming because of me, that surprised the hell out of me too. Dude, I'm so glad that you're having fun again. Bony hands grip Miss Wright's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. Oh, this is a spooky game! I'm sorry, Shade. Yeah, there's also QuickTime events at the end of every chapter where the character lives or dies. Ski, it's fine. It's a good Maybe not a good ghost. Oh, it's a ghost. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary.
Not for me, but for Miss Wright.
Zach, is something the matter?
Okay, so the ghost has something against the lady of the house.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something I saw.
I may have lied about the wholesome happy part.
Let's get back to the pictures.
Hey, there's cinnamon buns. Cinnamon buns have been given in this playthrough. It's happy and wholesome. It has its moments.
Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
The memory alone is enough to make me retch. I brush it off then. Imagine seeing this and being like, there's nothing wrong. Me. A trick of the eye, I told myself. Or a product of the heat. Shade, Zach understands. It's just a trick of the eye, it's fine. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen. Zach, honey. Sweetheart. No. Out of all the things. And well, blaming this on the usual fatigue, an overworked brain, the weather, or an amateur error on my part is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense what the small voice inside my head whispers. The small, tiny voice that only makes itself known when something's afoul. The same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. Casually dismiss the ghosts as I'm just tired. No, casually dismiss ghosts as, oh dang, it's hot in here. And with each second I spend staring at this photograph, the murmurs in my head only grow louder against my ears. That's what he did, J-Ben! Ooh. I'm showing it to Hannah because Ash seems like a skeptic. We must keep Zach alive because he will not survive on his own. But every piece of evidence is... I don't know who to show. Who would you guys show it to? I don't know who to show. Spin a wheel? Okay. Ash, I think? Dude, when Isabella first, came up to Ash about all this ghost nonsense, he went, yo, you should see a shrink. So I think Ash would... Yeah, Ash is a huge skeptic. That's why I'm leaning towards... Yeah, but I think I think it's mostly because of, he says there's weird stuff going on, but he doesn't believe in the supernatural. That's the problem with Ash. He's a huge denier. Yeah. That's why I'm reluctant to show him. Okay, so... Annoy Ash with the photo? No! Okay, Javen, you saying that? I'm showing Hannah now. No, Mark, it does not. Hello. I don't have an explanation for what I saw yesterday. Yet. How is you? But when you've been there, seen something enough to raise the hairs at the back of your neck, or leave you wanting to flee or hide, finding a more solid proof than a person's smudged off face on a photo is the least of my concerns. Oh, that's fair. Well, this is the beginning of this character's chapter, so that's not that's not surprising. Finding a more solid proof than a person's smudged off face on a photo is the least of my concerns. Ashton will undoubtedly give me flack for saying that, or even considering Isabella's words and those silly tales about the place. Yeah. The guy is a skeptic through and through. It'll take more than my account for him to give this a single thought. However, more than his opinion, it's Miss Wright I'm concerned about. Surely she must have felt something if those shows on TV are to be believed. A touch of coldness on her neck, or maybe the feeling of being watched. That's what often happens, ain't it? Outside, the sun has yet to rise. I've still got a few hours before dawn.
Ah, thank you for the flowers. Here. Flowers for you. Boop, 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 doo. Flower, flower, flower. Boop.
Outside, the sun has yet to rise. I've still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough time to mull over how I'll go about warning her. Plenty of space to check if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. The film processor hums back to life at my touch. The light switch gives out a soft click. The darkness embraces the small closet again. Boop.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
In hindsight, this is a dumb idea. That is to say, rushing to a client I barely know's home first thing in the morning, with the news of a ghost lady potentially haunting her newly bought property. Screams.
Doggo.
Oh, and there's a bunch of bizarre-looking pictures of Miss Hannah I've brought as proof, too. So yeah, dumbest idea in history of my dumb ideas, all things considered. It is a good picture. Traveling to the outskirts of Assam village at the crack of dawn with only my bike has company equally so. Personally, I don't think any of them would take whatever I'm going to say well, no matter how nice or accommodating they are. Ashton himself would tell me the same thing. Odds are he'll laugh at my face for good measure, if he doesn't freak out at me for not listening to his warnings. Still, that's a whole separate can of worms I'll open at a different time, seeing as I'm already standing at the Wright's front porch waiting for someone to answer the door. More than anything, Miss Wright needs to know there's a possibility. Nothing's safe in this place. Warning from friends be damned. I hope it's not Luke. I can only press space so fast.
If only someone would answer the door sooner. Come on.
I try to ignore the looming presence their large ornate door gives off as I press the doorbell for the fourth time. Its shrill ringing merely echoes, carried off by another warm passing breeze. The first time I came to this place, I found myself basking in the silence it offers. Now the atmosphere is just heavy, packed with trepidation and tension. Isabella's right. It does radiate the creepy kind of vibe. And with the image from the day before constantly flashing in my mind, the unease becomes harder to ignore as each second drifts by. Not wanting to spend more time than necessary, I ring the bell again. After a long second ticks by without anyone answering the door, if this fails, I can always go to Ash. Not really the most sensible course of action either, but waiting here ain't doing me any good. For all I know, the Wrights could be out of town. As luck would have it, just as I'm about to turn my heel, a loud thump rises from the other side, as followed by heavy footfalls and a string of very colorful expletives about one's patronage. Uh-oh, I think you're right. Jabin. I think it's Luke.
Didn't we have that bloody annoying doorbell replaced yesterday? That Irish star just cost me a fortune and she can't even fix this nuisance.
Uh-oh.
And where the hell is Johann if another po-faced prat is pressing their blighted bell, I swear I'll cut their...
Okay, I'm ready, Rose. I'm ready. I'm ready. You have to make bird noises over him. The door swings open, and a very irate Mr. Wright greets me. His party rumpled appearance, a clear testament to how early the hour is.
And who might you be?
Okay. Okay. Deep breaths.
I don't recall asking the movers to show up this early.
I was prepared to face Miss Wright, their butler, more so. But Mr. Wright, I don't quite know what to make of him yet. Sir Zachary! Well, he is kind of like hungover from a party right now. Well, no. He's just really tired from a party right now. He surely knows how to make an impression. I'll give him that. A bit a rude one. I only caught sight of him yesterday as he's directing the movers. Although from how exasperated he sounded then, he seemed like more yelling was done than actual giving of directions. Needless to say, I'd like to believe those instances ain't all there is to the guy. Miss Wright, at the end of the day, did marry him. Standing before him like now, though, is a different story altogether. Despite the difference in our respective heights, he manages to make it appear like he is the one looking down at me, not the other way around. An apology instinctively forms in my mouth before anything else when he arches a brow for my lack of response. Oh no, I'm scared.
Well, that's not exactly why I'm here, Mr. Wright, yeah?
Right, of course, the one and only. And what can I do for you this fine morning? Have I seen you somewhere before? Bloody you peasants all look the same to me.
Oh my god. He calls people peasants.
Yeah, I'm actually...
It doesn't matter, I don't care. I've got someplace important to be at today. Just spit out what you want or be gone. I haven't got all day.
His eyes are sharp and expecting in spite of his indifferent tone. The very impression of someone whose sharp wits has served him well throughout life. The kind you have to carefully choose your words around. Disconcerting how a simple conversation can easily seem like a ruthless form of social maneuvering. Yeah, I don't like him either. I can see why Miss Wright would want to steer clear of it, if only for a short while. I am not saying I am a friend of Hannah. He is going to flip. Yeah, we have to play as him. I'm just gonna say I'm a photographer. Wait, no, but then it's like, oh, it's paparazzi. Oh no. Is he gonna play the Hannah has no friends card if I say I'm a friend of Hannah? Oh no! He's scary! Luke gives me social anxiety. I don't want to talk to him. I'm a photographer for luxury living. Yeah. Wait. What? Will Hannah help me if I say I'm a friend of hers? I'm scared. Okay, wait. Coin flip. Heads or tails? Okay. Heads, top, bottom, tails. Okay. Okay, it's heads. We're gonna say we're a friend of Hannah's. Oh no. I don't want to. I'm scared. This man gives me social anxiety. But why would a friend of Hannah? Why would a friend of Hannah visit her this early in the morning? If you're questioning yourself, you want the second answer. It's out of our hands now. That's true, Shade. But I want the secret third option of apologize and run away. Apologize and run away. I should have picked Ash option. I should have picked Ash. I should have picked Ash. Leaves. Yes, that's the answer I want. I'm just leaving without saying anything. Luke will hunt you down, bro. I feel like Luke would hunt us down. Okay, I'm respecting the coin. Okay, heart of the coin, heart of the coin, heart of the coin!
Sorry, sir. I was just...
Actually, what did that do? Oh, it raised with Hana! Okay. I'm respecting the coin.
You see, I'm a friend of Hana, and...
A friend of Hana! Oh.
Surprise!
Yes, sir.
Okay, I feel like he's gonna... Okay, I need to watch what he says. Okay, I'm scared. I'm scared. We're gonna get laughed out of the mansion? No, we're not. His eyebrows shoot into his hairline at my answer. Although it swiftly disappears under his dismissive gesture, and a chuckle at his heels. Hi, sweetie. Also, I had to go quiet for a few seconds because Doggo had to go into my room because she's afraid of the smoke and high-pitched noises coming from the kitchen right now. Although it swiftly disappears under his dismissive gesture and a chuckle at his heels. Why? Oh, bless you, little one. I don't know if the mic caught that. Up! Up, 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 up! Tell Doggo J-Vent says hi. J-Vent says hi, Lucky. Oh! She bumped the mic. Let's go. You're being captured. A frown spreads across my face before I can stop myself. What I said has nothing remotely funny in it, yet here he is, hugging an arm closer to himself in a weak attempt to keep his shoulders from shaking.
Did I mispronounce something wrong, or...?
No, not at all. You didn't. My wife, has never mentioned a friend like you. That's all.
Is he trying to be respectful?
I suppose it's a good thing she's venturing out of the usual. Vultures and savages, all of them hiding under sheep's clothing.
I don't really get it, sir, but it's not really surprising she wouldn't talk about me. We just met yesterday during the shoot.
As soon as the statement is out, the amicable air melts away almost palpably. His eyebrows crease into a frown as his posture stiffens. Dude, this is the most respectful I've ever seen Mr. Wright. I'm not gonna lie. With how fast the atmosphere around us changes is...
Thank you for the kisses. Aww. What's wrong? Sweetie, you're just sitting on my chair while hiding under my desk. What are you doing? You can put your head above, you know.
Luke is angry that I'm ignoring him for a dog. Let's just put it that way. And how fast the atmosphere changes around us changes in merely the span of a few spoken words. I'm not quite sure what I can and can't say anymore. Like handling a ticking time bomb. Is this why Ashton wants us to stay away from him? If so, a part of me regrets not listening to him now.
Shoot. Who are you again?
Zachary Steele, sir. I was here yesterday from the magazine feature about your home.
Ah, that Zachary, the photographer. I remember now.
At least he didn't call us a slur this time.
Just when you think she'd be careful meddling around media types these days, she makes friends with one.
It was really just small chit-chat, sir. The usual. To keep things entertaining. The shoot did take the whole afternoon to finish.
Oh, I'm sure she was pleasantly entertained. She wouldn't be making friends with media types if she wasn't. No matter. She's her own woman. She can do what she wants so long as she doesn't do anything to ruin herself.
I'm sure Miss Wright is aware of that, sir.
That she is. But we aren't here to talk about her, are we? What is this about today? The city's a long way from here. On push bike, no less.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to talk to her.
Of course. Here for another headline, perhaps.
Not exactly, sir. I'm off work. This is for something else.
That's what they always say. The next thing you know, your face is in the front page of every conceivable scandal sheet going all the way to the ass end of Plymouth. You media types have such an insatiable taste for gossip. It's almost amazing.
There won't be any of that in an interior design magazine, sir. I can assure you that one.
What?
Oh, you never know. Well-trained hounds have an uncanny way of sniffing out things no matter where you keep them. I do admire the passion, though. It takes a lot of energy for someone to leave bed this early, let alone knock at someone else's door at this hour. That aside, unfortunately, you're going to have to come back some other day. You see, darling wife left not a moment ago. I have not an inkling where she went, or when she'll be back, so you're better off.
Love is at the movers.
Take that, Luke. He stops speaking altogether, and the complacent expression he has collapses on itself. Slowly, he turns just as his wife walks up to him, with a step too lively for comfort, a smile too sweet to be honest. She's very likely heard everything her husband and I talked about. Get wrecked, Luke.
Going off somewhere.
I've got the few things I want them to transfer already. Marianne made this splendid arrangement for the music room and... Love, are you listening?
I thought you already left, Buttercup.
Yeah, almost. She musters a frown, a pout more like. The mischievous gleam in her eyes when she glances at me says, all there is I need to know. I would have laughed at her antics if it wouldn't offend the other man. But as it is, it's better to let his wife have her fun without any reaction from me. I'm treading on dangerous grounds on him already. Imagine being stuck in a time loop. I mean, I feel like he's building up on the slurs. Maybe! No, his wife. No. He's scared of his wifey a bit. Cause Hannah has called him out on it before. And he stopped the second she called him out for it. So, I think we're safe if Hannah's around. Me, you, and the, hi, David. Sup, Moldy? How's it going? I hope you're doing well.
Well, I most certainly have not left yet. I wouldn't be standing here if I did, would I?
Of course you wouldn't be, darling. But don't you need to be somewhere else today? Something with Marianne?
Dude, fair. Make sure you stay hydrated, Moldy. Good on you for hitting the gym, though.
Shopping, girl, things?
Oh, I'll be leaving in a few. Unless you want to join us.
Does she?
No thanks, darling. I'm afraid my liver, it's killing me today. Ooh!
What was that noise?
I thought as much. You needn't have to worry. I'll be gone in a few. It's just that I heard we have a visitor. What kind of person would I be if I didn't greet him before leaving?
A very gracious one, I'm sure.
Zachary, right? Zach?
It's going well. It's going well, Moldy. Thanks for asking. No one has died. No one in the main cast has died.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
Likewise, ma'am. I was actually looking for you.
Is that so? What for?
Yeah, we can kill people.
A huge display of unprofessionalism is what it's for.
I said that way too cheerily. Yeah, we can kill the cast off. Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe. Cause you only saw her little PNG and you haven't seen her full sprite. Maybe. Shade.
Shush, darling. Let the man speak.
Fair shade.
I'm sure it isn't anything like that if he has to come all the way here, yes?
It's about yesterday. The photos you asked, I mean. The copies are ready, but
My hand stills as I'm about to fish the prints out of my pocket. A short second passes, that which strikes me. How? I didn't think this through at all. How I'll go about telling her regarding the strange photos, or revealing this to her in the presence of another person. Her husband gazing over us like a hawk doesn't provide any sort of comfort either. And just like that, all the words I have been practicing to say on the way here inevitably fall stiffly off of my mouth. Mr. Wright must have noticed my hesitance, because shortly she gives her husband's arm a gentle squeeze, a tender smile grazing her face. Unlike the first, this one is meant to appease.
Love, I think Hansi might need some of your input for the final guest list. Could you check on him, please?
Bollocks! Why in all Luxborn do I have to be there? Doing tedious jobs are what he's being paid for.
Because if we end up with people whose faces you do not want to show up in our housewarming party, we won't be hearing the end of it.
Oh, okay, so this is before the housewarming party.
Unless a heavy dose of liquor's involved. You know what the doctor said about that. Please do poor Hansi and your liver a favor,
He can handle that on his own, Buttercup. And my liver is doing just fine.
You said it was in pain.
I'm sure it is. But I don't know, love. I think I caught a glimpse of the name Mitch Lakes, was it? I think it was Mitch Lakes on it when I checked with Hansi earlier. You should see for yourself. It was quite a list.
Who put that blighted twat in there?
And that's why I'm asking you to look over it before I do so tonight.
Very well.
But even with that promise, he doesn't appear ready to leave. Short of passing through the doors, he stops and glances back at me, all without bothering to hide the distrust in his eyes.
Luke, dear, I'll be fine. Go back to your butler.
Why does Luke have a butler and you don't?
I'm not some pregnant wife you have to worry about.
She hasn't dropped the bomb on him yet.
Fine, fine. I have to go to that little ankle biter's career day later anyway. I don't see why I have to go there. Kylie's your goddaughter.
And yet, she has you around her little fingers, darling. That's basically the same thing.
Oh, he has a weak spot for kids? What? If he ever has an answer to that, we don't get to hear it. Above the heavy thud the door makes, and Miss Wright's own weary exhale, after she's sure her husband is out of earshot. She's nothing but apologetic when she fixes her gaze back at me, and I can't help but to return the same to her.
I am so sorry you had to deal with that. My husband can be a bit trying when he really applied himself.
it's fine, Miss Wright. No harm done. It was my fault for
Aw.
showing up here unannounced.
That's a cute PNG. I like Blushy Zach.
And this might be strange coming from me, but he does have the right to be wary. The press can be quite vicious when it wants to be.
Caught unexpectedly, they'll pick you apart. It is not surprising why he acted the way he did around me.
Sweetie, if Luke treats every journalist who shows up here like that, I'm afraid we'll end up with a harassment lawsuit hanging over our heads sometime in the future.
True.
Vicious or not, some sort of finesse has to be exercised when dealing with them. I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't too offensive.
Not at all, Miss Wright. Besides, I don't think an interior design magazine would be interested in who harassed who this week. Unless it has something to do with fighting over tastefully arranged furniture. But even then, I don't think our readers will be too interested.
Oh, dearie. You've got a lot to learn. You really have no idea how a single tassel can ignite a spark in a crowd. Of course, at the end of the day, it's still the thought that counts. It's still a lovely anniversary gift from my husband.
Oh, I smell the karkara from my room. I miss the smell. The oxtail.
No matter. Let's just go.
Huh? What is she trying to convince of us? I got distracted by food. The scent of food. She doesn't wait for an answer and immediately wanders over to a car parked some distance from us. Oh, that's what you're hinting at. Unsure, I find myself trailing after her. Well, there was the choice whether we can make Hannah and Luke have a break or her just being a little bit more independent. So there's that. A chauffeur automatically opens the passenger side door as she nears, and she gestures me for me to follow when she climbs into the back seat. Oh yeah, I just realized if I did go the divorce route, that'd be a huge scandal. Especially like, oh, they bought a new mansion and it was their anniversary gift, but then like a few days later they got divorced. Ooh, that would be a big scoop. I'm glad I didn't pick that one.
To where are we going exactly?
I need to get out of this stuffy house for a while. Moving in, planning the party. It's starting to get suffocating in there. Luke and Hansi can have their fun while I'm gone. I don't care. I'm getting out because I can. Another minute in there and I'll drown.
My bike.
There are, of course, a lot of things questionable about her invitation. We're still trying to. She hasn't given us the chance. Why is she asking a person she has only known for less than 2 days in the first place is one. Hannah is... You hit the nail on the head, Zach. Hannah really is lonely. She even tried to talk to Marianne about her marriageable problems, but... Oh, she has no friends. How appropriate this is, being another. But the rest of it crashes the moment she shoots me an imploring look.
Please? I can have someone send it back to your address later. And it's just a trip to the city for some furniture, nothing more, I assure you.
If she didn't have Luke as a husband, heck yeah. Wait, yeah, Luke.
Marianne will be with us, and maybe you can tell me why you're here on the way.
Guess it wouldn't hurt. I might have to leave early, though.
Zach is the perfect friend for anybody. Zach is the perfect boyfriend for anybody. Zach is perfect.
Excellent, then. Hop in. That's what they often say, yes?
Oh my god, that is so cute. She's probably been waiting. Like, can you imagine Hannah just like late at night by herself, just like reciting like, let's go here, let's go there. And just like reciting just reciting happy things to say to friends. She doesn't. Nah, Shade, get your mind out of the gutter. Calm down. This can't be a good idea, but I really don't have any other choice, do I? Especially the way her eyes light up when I agreed to it. She's just happy to have a friend. In my pocket, the very picture of her remains faceless. A voiceless shadow hanging threateningly between us, unknown to her. If someone told me I'd be spending my entire morning being dragged around half of downtown Luxembourg looking for furniture, I probably would have simply smiled at them. Then perhaps even given them a good friendly pat on the shoulder and wished them a nice day. Not that I find anything wrong with this at all. On the contrary, this is most definitely a nice change of pace after weeks of getting bogged down by several freelance gigs and shutting myself inside my apartment whenever I can. So click that button. Fair. If only the weather would be a whole lot nicer. The kind with less sun and more clouds, perhaps. With the mid-morning sun slowly beating down on us as high noon approaches, I can see why Mr. Wright skipped out on this trip. The bright side is, the whole thing seems to have put Miss Wright in a less somber mood. After the 5th store, her pace is considerably livelier, her gestures less guarded than the one she displayed at the mansion earlier. The presence of another person might have helped as well. Although Miss McConnell seems less predisposed to small talk, preferring to keep to herself most of the time and let Miss Wright lead us whenever. She did acknowledge me with a small nod when we were introduced earlier, but that didn't make standing outside the store together any less awkward while we wait for our client to finish her inquiry inside.
So, interior design, huh?
She cast me a sidelong glance before returning to her notes again, her pen scratching faintly against the paper in quick, successive strokes. Ah, there goes that. I did say I'm not good at starting or keeping conversations going, didn't I? She doesn't look back up again, and I take that as my cue to stop any attempt of striking a dialogue with her, and keep myself occupied with some other thing. Except what we have here is just Luxembourg and its busy streets, people going about their day like normal, cars moving in and out of sight to who knows where. Nothing remarkable, really. The ease which a person can fade into the background here is reflective of the kind of city Luxembourg will always be, but the humdrum's one thing I learned to live with. Needless to say, it doesn't usually stay that way. There are times when it would come alive, make itself known, and reassert itself back into the world. However, those moments are few and far in between. Then again, with what graces the new channels lately, I'm starting to think it's going to happen sooner. Can't say I'm looking forward to what it'll bring.
Luxury living, is it?
Her voice effectively cuts through my thoughts, just as I count the 13th passerby, wearing a hat today. Beside me, I can hear a faint rustling of paper and the clicking of her pen as she stashes them into her bag.
Excuse me, what?
The magazine you're working for. It's Luxury Living, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've been featured by them before, I take it?
A few years back, yes. For just some issues. My designs still appear from time to time, though not as frequent as before. Gotta have room for new talents, right?
It may not show in her face, but the pride is evident in her voice.
Good folks, the people running the publication. Tell me, is DK still on the editorial team?
I wouldn't know. I've only started taking jobs from them this year. Freelancer, you know.
Good man, that guy. Anyone in our field should meet him.
Oh.
He had a lot of things to say about art, all of them relevant. Learned a lot from him, actually, even if we both came from two different fields.
It's so nice to hear her talk in a more casual manner.
I hope he's in a good place. I haven't talked to him in a while. Anyway, your portfolio must have been good if they gave you the job. They don't easily assign big features to freelancers like this.
I wouldn't say I am, but experienced, you know? The more you practice it, the more you learn the tricks of the trade. That kind of stuff.
I know what you mean. Still, you've got to keep up with the competition. Each year, a new talent emerges, and, well, you never know.
Bro, I think that goes with any pet owner. If you don't insult her pet, she doesn't hate you. They won't hate you.
Clients can be a bit fickle-minded with their choices. Believe me.
Isabella is just awkward, okay?
Speaking of, do you think you'd be up for a new client after this?
I think so. Depends on how big the project is.
She reaches into her bag again. This time to pull out a business card, which she hands over to me.
When you're free, send your portfolio to Chris. He's my assistant.
Ayo?
He's been looking for a decent photographer to help with updating the studio's portfolio. Nothing urgent, but the sooner the better.
Hey, she gave us a gig! Let's go!
Not sure if I'll have the time to squeeze this in. But, alright, I'll give it a go once.
Marianne, could you look this over for me?
At that very moment, Miss Wright emerges from the store. When I look back to Miss McCullough, a mask of professionalism has returned to her. Or at least that's what it's trying to be. There's a different light in her eyes as she faces her, a flicker of familiarity and recognition. I'd say it's fondness, but that would be too presumptuous. It doesn't last, and it is briskly swept under the firm tone her voice assumes.
Definitely. Is there a problem?
They said they don't have the colors you suggested. Do you think we can change it around for a bit? It might take a while if we insist what we want, and you know I'd rather not worry about this later.
I think it'd be better if I handle this one myself. Excuse me.
She walks into the shop without another word, leaving the two of us standing outside. As soon as she's out of earshot, however, Miss Wright lets out a giggle and swipes the business card cleanly off my hand. She smiles, a bemused little thing spreading across her face, and waves the card in front of me. Probably. I wish she'll do that more often, the smiling thing. It suits her more than the other one she frequently shows it to the media.
I look away, and the next thing I know, you're picking up women. On the streets, while the sun is high, no less. I'm not sure if I should be appalled or amazed. Whatever happened to the Zach I met a day ago? About as tall as you. Photographer. Quite the gentleman. To tell you the truth, I'm a bit disappointed he's gone.
No, the way Zach's putting it is the genuine smile, not the smile she puts up for photographs. This is a different, that's a different you should smile more. Like, she should be more comfortable instead of always having a mask.
It ain't like that, Miss Wright. And I'm sure Miss McCullough is not the kind of woman to let herself be picked up by strangers, let alone people she barely knows.
Oh, shush. Let me have my fun.
I will not let Zach slander fly in this chat. Javen, remember, I have power here.
And didn't I say you can call me Hannah? This right after you introduced yourself as my friend in front of my husband.
Okay. I was about to time you out for 3 seconds, but okay, bro. You saved yourself.
I do believe this isn't how friends address each other. Too formal, don't you think?
She gives the card back to me, nevertheless, and with it, her mood fades into a more pensive one. Dodged a bullet there. Yeah, 3 seconds timeout. Oof. Rough, buddy. An odd look settles on her face, yearning, a bit wistful, as she looks back towards the shop's display window. There's nothing remotely interesting in it for me when I follow her line of sight, though. A few trinkets here and there, a fur rug, a sofa, a wooden side table, and a lamp, all tastefully picked and arranged to resemble a typical antique living room. I don't know if I can take a 3-second timeout. Not again. No! Not the shame! On second thought, it does look comfortable. But why they added a crib beside it baffles me. Unless, of course, the people they're hoping to market to are those who are already who already have children or about to have one. Then maybe it is fitting. Particular choice of decorations aside, it does make for a nice icebreaker if it's not on the same level of weird and completely out of the blue. Still leagues better than the awkward silence, which is definitely out of character for a personality like Miss Hannah's. How should I start the conversation? I think that's too vague. I think we should just straight up ask, do you think a crib would make a good gift?
My sister just had a baby, you know.
Baby! She tears her attention away from the window and looks at me with incredulous expression on her face. Like I just asked her to drive off a cliff. Uh-oh. She relaxes, but I can't get that image of her out of my head. I hope I didn't say anything to offend.
Oh, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just a thought. She gave birth a few weeks ago.
I suppose a congratulations is in order then.
Thanks. I'll let her know. Do you think a crib would make a good gift?
I'm sure she'd love that if she doesn't have one yet. Otherwise, maybe clothes. Or things she can use to care for the baby.
Oh, I just realized. Is she like wearing that sash thing around her dress to like cover the baby bump? Because she's supposed to be 3 months pregnant. She might. She might, since that she has been hiding it.
You realize I'm the last person you should be asking about this, yes?
Oh, it's a first baby, don't you worry. I haven't bought a gift yet since I'm kinda new to this too, you know? The whole being an uncle thing. For a long time, it's just been me, sis, and my grandparents. Now there's a little person who came into this world as part of the family. Who'd have thought, huh?
Please don't tell me you're jealous.
Of the baby?
Oh, of course not. It's...
The voice actor for Zach is cute too.
But I gotta admit, the very idea takes a lot of getting used to, and you know, scary stuff like what if I drop her, or end up teaching her something bad, or I just can't stop making her cry, or...
Oh, Zachary! Something warm presses against my arm, gentle as it can be, which stops the rest of my words from coming out. Yeah! Her hand, I realize, belatedly. When I look to her, there's nothing but warmth in her smile. I mean, as much as we like to pick on Ash, the fact that Ash's voice actor did that ringtone and let that be public for everyone to see it here, he is a brave man. Mad respect for that. When I look to her, there's nothing but warmth in her smile. She's been doing that a lot in the past few hours, and I can't help but to return it to her. Take your time, Java.
Zach, sweetie. Stop. You're panicking. It's going to be fine.
It shows that he cares, and it's the cutest thing.
I don't know, Hannah. Maybe I'm not cut out to be a good uncle.
Oh, sweetie, no!
Don't be silly. You'll probably be the best one there is. Might even make a good father when the time comes.
Hickety hackety moldy, what do you mean you were spending money? Weird flex, but okay.
Whoever you choose to be with will be lucky to have someone like you, I'm sure.
True! Zach is a gem. At this, her expression softens, sadness fleeting into her eyes for a little while before she looks away. No, not a flex, I'm dumb. What did you spend your money on? Is it more Bucci merch? Did you buy more merch, Bumoldi? Were you on those JP sites?
I'm the one who's worried if I'll ever make a good mother. Luke doesn't seem to even want one of our own. How pitiful is that?
Oh, okay, that's fair, that's fair.
7 years and we're still at this point. I don't even know what to call it anymore.
Good on you for supporting your friend.
Now I'm carrying this other life with me while the father doesn't want anything to do with it.
Oh, Hannah, you're assuming.
What am I going to do, Zach? Because right now, I'm absolutely at a loss.
Oh.
Oh. A beat.
Oh.
The realization strikes me like a ton of bricks suddenly bearing down at me. More than astonishment must have shown on my face because Hannah lets out a chuckle. The slump of her shoulders disappear altogether. Underneath her mirth,
Don't look so surprised, dearie. Tied the knot 7 years ago, remember?
Hannah dropped the bomb that she's preggo to Zach. And she's worried that Luke doesn't want a baby.
Don't you think it's bound to happen?
She brandishes her hand in front of me, the unassuming silver band on her finger, glinting against the late morning sunlight for a second. Yeah, she trusts us! She also said how we'll make a great uncle, we'll make a great papa, how the person we take fancy to will be lucky to have us. Yeah. She eyes it lovingly, almost tenderly, despite the trace of sadness in her voice. For all I know, there is an entire story there. I'd like to ask, but that would be too inappropriate, even for friends. It's not my place to meddle to begin with.
Or at least that's what they've been saying early on. My whole social circle would be saying it's a long time coming.
But the kid is something you want, right? Because if it ain't, then that's a whole other problem.
Of course. I wouldn't deny I've been hoping to have him or her for a long time now. But then, now that we're here, all of a sudden, there are a whole lot of other things to be worried about. Business, a new home, public image, my own husband, and I don't know. I didn't really have anyone for a role model.
Oh, Hannah.
I practically grew up with nursemaids pampering me every step of the way. What if it happens to this baby as well? Oh, I can already see how this will end.
Huh. I guess it's not just my sister.
What?
You and my sister. I mean, you're both having jitters or something like that. That's what it's called, right? First baby jitters?
Wait, is that a thing?
Mind you, she was really convinced she'd do everything wrong then.
They're nervous because they care.
He even called me in the middle of the night. Has to switch places the day she found out she's carrying a new member of the family. Never mind how utterly impossible her request is.
Oh my god, that's so cute!
I'm quite sure I haven't done anything of that sort yet.
Oh, you don't know that? My brother-in-law has been telling me things 5 weeks into my sister's pregnancy. Since she's one cranky pregnant lady. Man, good thing I found a place for myself years before that bundle of joy arrived, huh?
It can't be that awful.
Who knows? I think we'd better leave it for Mr. Right to decide, yeah?
Provided he comes around.
Oh.
He just sounds so repulsed every time the idea is brought up.
Oh.
Then maybe you should say it to his face. No mincing of words or beating around the bushes.
Yeah.
And if he says no?
You haven't even told him yet. Besides, that's his kid. Don't people usually say fatherhood changes men? I wouldn't call myself a living testament, of course, but there ought to be something that will hit him in that idea alone.
A wrecking ball would be nice.
I hope my husband gets hit by a wrecking ball. Dang, Hannah. Laughter escapes me before I can stop it, and for a moment, I thought I have done something wrong when she doesn't join in. He's still her husband no matter what jests or complaints she hurls about him behind the media's eyes, or in the presence of people she trusts. If she says no, then get the wrecking ball. Agreed. But when she does, her chuckle, a small hesitant sound at first, I find the rest of my unease slipping away.
Well, whatever it is, my point is, you've got no idea what will happen. In the same way, you don't know if you'll be a good mom. Trust me, my sister's been there. It's perfectly normal. If, my opinion matters, though.
A long second of indecision goes by. I can feel her eyes filled with nothing but curiosity, boring into me while she waits for the rest. It's just a simple sentiment, but one thing I think she needs to hear, for all the doubts she unwittingly places on herself. Yeah, Yeah, Hannah would be an amazing mom. I don't want to think about Luke. I'm not sure if it should come from me. I'll be damned.
I think you'll be a great mother, Hannah.
If she has an answer to that, I don't get to hear it, nor does she get to say it. As soon as it's out of my mouth, the bell hanging over the antique store's door chimes, and comes out Miss McConnell. For more than one reason, I have never been so relieved our talk got interrupted.
Everything's been taken care of for tomorrow, Mrs. Wright. We'll have everything you requested delivered early.
What did you do to them? Are they okay? Is the staff okay?
I've left them instructions, but I may have to visit again right before your housewarming party to check for a few things.
Did you threaten them?
I hope that's acceptable to you.
She committed several war crimes. That's why she took so long.
More than Marianne. This is a little early to say, but you did marvelous work with the mansion. I can't wait to see all of it come together tomorrow.
I'm only doing my job, ma'am. Needless to say, it's always a pleasure to hear a client is satisfied with my work.
Nonsense! You have every reason to be proud. I know you've already established your name here, but I'll still make sure word gets out, of course. I think I've got a few friends who might be interested in decorating their homes. I'll see if I can introduce you to them tomorrow.
I really don't want to impose, Mrs. Wright. There's still a lot to be done, and I'd rather be keeping an eye on it myself.
You know well enough I'll still do it. You too, Monsieur Le Photographe. You better be the one taking the pictures for the event tomorrow, or I'll be very upset.
I blink at her, confused. Last I checked, I have nothing scheduled on my plate tomorrow. A couple of fleeting thoughts did cross my mind, like working on personal projects. But with the expectant expression on Hannah's face alone, I've wondered before how they got Isabella to sell them the mansion, with all the paperwork and the loops it had to go through. And, well, now, the how is already standing in front of me, and it's one giant ball of persuasion in human form. Wait, did I say wowie? If I have any doubts how she got around life, all of them have been dispelled right this instant. Hannah hasn't said anything yet, but I already know what my answer will be.
What event?
Oh, okay.
Our housewarming party, dearie. I've already sent invites through your publisher. They should have informed you of it by now.
Apologies, Jabin, I needed to turn on my light because it is now dark in my room. Oh. I hope this isn't warning me what's gonna happen in the future of this visual novel. Especially since that we're on Zach's route and learning his backstory. I've lost so much in my life. What will I lose next?
I may have probably missed it. I haven't gotten the chance to check my mailbox yet. Deadlines, real life happenings, you know, they can be pretty hectic.
Knock on wood.
I'll try later, but they might have already assigned it to a different photographer if they haven't received my reply yet.
That's not a problem. Nothing a little call from me can't fix. I'll have them know I'm specifically requesting for your presence. It shouldn't be too hard. Just promise me you'll show up. I expect to see you both there. No excuses.
Yeah, I did the knocking.
Good company, good music, good food. Of course I'll be there.
Lovely. I hope we have that settled then. I'd love to stay and chat, but unfortunately I have an appointment scheduled with the doctors after this. You two will have to excuse me.
Wait, we never showed Hannah the picture.
Are you feeling fine, ma'am?
It's nothing big.
There is a short while in which her hand faintly touches her stomach when she says this. Her smile, as she does so, a tender thing in itself. She might never let it cross her mind, but motherhood would suit her. The kid is already loved, when he or she has yet to have a sense of the world. Candid moments like this, I wish I had brought my a camera for.
Sorry we had to cut this short. I'd love to have lunch with you two, but, well, you two know how it goes.
It's quite fine, Mrs. Wright. I need to get going as well.
Is it somewhere far from here? I can have my driver drop you off on the way.
No, please. There's no need for that, Mrs. Wright. It's just within the city.
I see. What about you, Zach? We did leave your push bike at the mansion. Don't worry, I'll have someone bring it to your home later.
Nah, I live within the city too. A few blocks from here, in fact. I only visited earlier because...
The photos. Damn, I have completely forgotten about them. My hand grazes the side of my pocket, where I've kept them since this morning. And sure enough, they're still there, waiting for the whole world to see them.
Because? Zach, sweetie, you're zoning out.
Miss Hana, earlier, at the mansion.
Stress is bad for the baby, but she has the right to
I
know.
think it would be better if you take a look at these yourself.
Yup, gotta show 'em. Agreed, Shade. Seeing is believing, right? I reach into my pocket and pull out the photos, handing everything to her. Recognition flickers across her eyes when she reaches for them, and I have to stamp down the tiny twinge of regret in my stomach of having the gall to show it to her. Only it cuts deeper the instant her and Miss McConnell's expression changes. And it's not a good look. To say she's repulsed would be a total understatement. All this time, Hannah has been nothing but direct, saying what she feels, expressing what she wants. Away from the glamour and the camera lens, she's a whole different person. But as she goes through each of the pictures, I can't get an easy read on her.
Zach, dearie, what is this?
Your photos. The ones you requested copies of. I mean, they came out that way, and I thought you should know.
Oh, I get it. You know, I've heard before that artists can be a bit weird. Have you ever gotten that kind of comment, Marianne?
Not in my line of work, I'm afraid. Or ever, Mrs. Wright. I'd rather keep my personal hobbies away from my actual work. Less stress that way.
Oh no, they think I did it purposely.
Well, I suppose it just never crossed my mind that the saying applies to you as well, Zach. But talent's what's important, As long as you make good art, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, that's... You see, when we had that photo shoot yesterday, there was something.
I wouldn't say I don't appreciate it. I did ask for copies, darling. But would it be possible for you to give me normal-looking ones? Preferably with my head intact. I admire the effort you took to edit this, though. It looks authentic. Frankly, if I show this to some other person, they'd probably believe those silly rumors about the mansion. Good publicity, but not the kind I'd want for my new home. So please.
She drops them back in my hands, like their very surface burned hers.
If you could redo this, that would be wonderful. I'm positive you can do a better job than the one you just showed. Just try to keep the edits to a minimum,
Yeah. I can, sure.
Okay, so they were both skeptics.
You can take your time, of course.
But Hannah has seen stuff.
And speaking of time, I really must go.
So maybe she's just in denial. She leaves without so much as a wave. I don't have to take a guess to know I've dismayed her, or in her own words, weirded her out. Yeah, poor Zach. Beside me, Miss McConnell shakes her head. What are the odds I've also ruined my chances with the job she offered earlier? Oh no! Very high, I'd say. It's a foolish idea in the first place. Miss McConnell departs shortly after Miss Wright has taken her leave, muttering something about getting a quick lunch before fetching Betril from Chris. Okay. Oh, we lost all our friendship with Hannah, and it's back to neutral. Ouch. I don't know who Betril is, who or what a Betril is, but it must be important for her to be in this kind of hurry. And while she doesn't seem to be fond of small talks, something we can both agree on. Lunch sounds good, or a walk around the city maybe? But with the sun as high as it is now, nah. And after how things with Miss Hannah went, I simply can't muster the appetite for anything at the moment. If I don't do anything now, I have this impression it will rear its ugly head again. I feel like it's better if she knows, though. I feel like deep in her heart, she knows it's not edited. I don't blame Zach for the pictures. She obviously blinked. 100% Mozzie, 100%. And by then, things might be too late to fix. She like shifted a bit without warning when he pressed the shutter button. And by then, things might be too late to fix. What other choice do I have? Ash? Rebecca? In all likelihood, all they'll give me is a pat on the back. And Z-Man, go get some sleep, man. You're at it again. From Ash. I talked to Isabella, but I haven't seen her around since she showed up at my apartment 2 days ago. Weird. There is one person, though.
Damn, I should have thought of that first.
The priest? Turns out I do have another choice. I'm not a religious person. I won't identify myself as such. Rather, I can't. Sure, my grandparents didn't have to force me to go weekly. I'd happily join them. In fact, most of my childhood Sundays have been spent attending service. Same. It's simply that as you get older, the more experiences you get, forming your own beliefs on things becomes easier, for the lack of a better word. And at one point, it just stopped. That kind of thing. Nevertheless, I hold no disdain for it. Wait. Is this like a body and then the head is replaced with a cross? What? Sometimes it does help. When things are really, really bad. When the dreams won't stay where they should be. Talking does. A bit. It's also a good thing Father Norman's, well, he's not the completely pious man you'd typically expect. My unlikely friendship only probably happened because he's the kind of guy who's cool with the young ones. As he so aptly puts. And he is, surprisingly. It makes him easy to approach. Like that one time with Isabella. I don't think he believes in the ghost kind, but there he went. Maybe he has something to say about the photos as well. It won't hurt since I've already gone ahead and went to ask them. At daybreak on my bike. At the very least, I know I won't get shouted out at by whoever answers the door.
Unless someone does that inside a church. I highly doubt it.
Despite its age, the Luxembourg Church is a thing of wonder in itself, with its high vaulted ceilings and intricate stained glass windows. One of the many gifts the Ermengarde family donated to the community in its early days. Or so I heard from Rebecca. She mentioned this once, although most of it flew over my head then. At this time of day, the church is mostly empty, save for a few visitors, ushers shuffling about, some muttering their prayers under their breath. The scene of burning candles and incense permeate the air, giving the place a general feeling of reverence. Pretty welcoming, all in all. Even so, I keep the noise of my threads make to a minimum. Disturbing the quiet feels like a sin alone. An usher points me to a pew in front of the altar when asked where Father Norman prays. He mentioned something about the good priest not being in good health. Ever since he did a favor to bless an old house. This is the first time in days he left his room. No surprise there, with the weird heat lately, even Rebecca caught something. Nervous little chap, the kid. Nevertheless, he leads me close to the foot of the dolls, which a reminder not to stay too long before with a reminder to stay not too long before walking off. Seconds later, Father shifts and stands. He doesn't seem to have noticed me, and I have to give him a little tap on the shoulder. When he looks, though, to say he's surprised is an understatement.
Stay away.
His voice comes out a whisper, almost inaudible in the hush, a quiet restraint in deference to where we're both standing. But the tremor is there. I love this shit! Let's go! He focuses on me with wide bulging eyes, copious amount of sweat appearing on his forehead despite the relative coolness of this place. Oh my god, wait, is this like Ju-on the Grudge? Whoever enters the mansion gets cursed? Dude, fair.
Father Norman?
Keep your distance.
Hey, it's me, Zach, remember?
Stay away, don't come near me.
It must be the fever talking, or whatever he caught. It has to be. I don't recall ever doing anything to him to drive me away like this. In all the years I've known him, he's been nothing but polite, nothing but accepting of people, regardless of beliefs or status in life. For words akin to a threat to come out of him, it's simply beyond unimaginable.
Go back to where you came from. Leave.
Father, what did I do?
Leave now.
Wait, it can enter churches? I just realized this. Hold up. I extend a hand to his shoulder, meant to be reassuring. But he recoils, his ankle catching the edge of the dowels as he backs away. His shout when I attempt to reach out again echoes through the entire hall, catching the attention of the few people inside. I try to keep a level tone, but with the stranger's eyes trained on us, panic starts to weave its way into me.
Stay away, demon! Go back to the hell you came from!
Father, it's okay. I only came here for some pictures I thought looked odd. I figured you might know something.
The priest is cursed, J-Vent. I think it's like the Grudge. Whoever enters the house gets cursed. Because Father Norman ended up getting sick after doing the blessing. From my pocket, I fish out the photos and try to hand it to him. Instead, he strikes my wrist away, almost like an accusation, and sends the photographs fluttering uselessly to the floor. Oh yeah, he thinks it's a demon. Helpless, I can only watch as he curls into himself on the ground, a sad, blubbering mess whimpering to himself. But the ghost is strong enough to enter churches, which is very interesting. He tips his head forward and begins rocking his hands clapped over his ears.
That accursed spirit, so full of anger and pain. All those horrible things I've seen. I can't sleep. I can't eat everywhere I look. Go away, go away. Go away. You're not supposed to be here. This is a house of God. Be gone, demon. Lord have mercy, God our Lord, King of ages, all powerful and almighty. You who made everything and transform everything simply by your will.
A number of people have moved closer, mostly just to gawk. Thankfully, as if to save him from being an utter spectacle, 2 ushers come out, taking him away. One of them, the kid from earlier, shoots me an apologetic look. I can't even return it to him. Anxiety is a powerful thing, a firm little notion that clings, eats, and consumes you. I can still hear his prayers even as they drag him away.
May he keep at bay and vanquish every evil power, every poison or malice invoked against us by corrupt and envious people.
Not the hey fellow kids, priest!
Then under the protection of your authority may we sing in gratitude.
I really like his voice acting, though. It rings, hums in me as I am left to pick up the pieces of this chaos. Back to square one we go. I hope he lives too! If there is salvation in this, I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy threads and the sound of traffic outside echoing in my ears, filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would scold me if she ever hears me walk like that, but after today, I can't really give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremoniously flop down onto it, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. As promised, Miss Wright had my back delivered back to my apartment. Found it parked in the rack downstairs with an invitation and a note tackled to it, in fact. Be there, it said. Okay, she does forgive us for the pictures. Okay. Only if it were that easy. But it'll give me a chance to talk to her about the thing in their house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed along with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow, when my head isn't muddled with thoughts of a headless woman and the haunting smiles of a ghost. Belatedly, it occurs to me that I haven't eaten anything since I left this morning. And an empty gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Oh, he does have an underbed area! Oh no! Today was a complete waste of time, and frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense than this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. Okay, we're safe. The melody carries into the hall long before I cross the threshold. Well, they already tried throwing it away and it just came back. I don't think, and again, the whole just making the spirit angrier by disposing it improperly. The melody carries into the hall long before I cross the threshold. Solemn, but gentle and soothing, a reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze, Ma's wistful smiles, the warm rays filtering through the eaves of sunset, the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain, and our room. The room. Ma and Pa's pride and joy, a place we were once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet, more than it usually is, the walls more foreboding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa. I can't hear Pa. Not above the ranculous clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting, soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. But when the light breaks, her skin is already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and laceration on her body. Bony hands grip Hannah's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. A scream ripples through the air. My whole body feels distant. Okay, I'm getting ready. Is there a quick time event? I mean, he technically did dream about it, but it's separate from his mama and papa. Every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move at will. Ooh, eat well, Jabin. Not even so I can wipe the beads of sweat forming at my temple. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours while I force it back into my steady rhythm. There's a tightness in my chest I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it as if it's about to burst out. Something cold has settled in my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. With every struggle I make, the pressure wounds firmly against my legs. Oh, really, Shade? Are you a lucid dreamer? Or what do they call this, sleep paralysis? Tighter, and tighter, and tighter. And all until it becomes too much. My heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it an iron tang of blood. Thick, suffocating. Filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell as I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into view. Mouth stretched into a hideous smile and eyes brimming with nothing but madness. Ah, that's fair shade. The stench of gore taints the air around me and I can't look away. From it, her. From the terror and death that her uncanny, twisted features alone scream. I try to open my mouth, to shout, to ask for any help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is the painful realization that no kind of plea will ever save me from her. Then suddenly the bed dips. Ah! The brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. I thought there was gonna be a quick time event and I failed, but there wasn't. I also thought she was going slowly closer to the screen as I read, and I'm like, do I have to read faster? Do I have to read faster? Is this a timed event? I'm scared. There is no ear-splitting scream, no wind, no wild thrashing of limbs. Just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no second pulling it, a blanket, away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting off the bed. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. 1 step. 2 steps. 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are they the small cursory flashes of what I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and her cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one big, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Are you okay, Shade? Even in the waking world, it reeks. A bench on the park is far from the most private place for thoughts in Luxembourg, considering its location at the heart of the bustling city. But in the early hours of the morning, it provides enough peace and quiet for any poor, problematic soul who happens to wander here. Oh, they died. The city is just waking up, a little later than usual. Don't worry, Shade. I brought flowers to your funeral. You're fine. This is fine. But knowing what day it is, one can't fault it for being a little tardy just this once. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the soft twittering of birds does anything to banish the images. Every single one has rooted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what is no longer a safe place to hide in.
London Bridge is falling
It
down,
used to be easy finding some pretense of peace under the guise of sheer optimism,
Take a key
following
and
the
lock him
regular
up, lock
routine.
him up, lock him up. Take
Now?
a key and lock him up.
Now I don't know what to make of
my
it.
fair lady.
Sometimes it's easier to
London
run,
Bridge is falling
easier to
down,
hide when
falling
everything's
down,
falling apart.
falling down.
That way,
London Bridge
you don't
is
have to be the
falling
first to
down,
witness
my fair
it when it
lady.
when it does.
Take a key and lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. Take a key
It worked
and lock
when
him up.
things went
my
bad with the
fair
movie,
lady.
after all. It also worked when Ma
London
and
Bridge
Pa
is
were taken
falling
from us.
down, falling down,
Though the
falling down.
sentiments
London
a
Bridge
little
is falling
hypocritical
down,
when you
my
think
fair
about
lady.
my little talk
Take
with
a
Miss Wright
key
the
and
other
lock
day.
him up.
But
lock
that's just
him
how
up,
it is.
Lock him up.
Maybe
Take
it
a key
really
and
is
lock
better if I
him up.
just...
Hey, mister.
Are you Ash's little sister? The tiny voice gives me a pause. When I look up, a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, is peering at me. Two wide eyes overflowing with what can only be a natural curiosity one typically sees in children. Vaguely, I note the St. Goreth uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey, kid.
Kylie.
Oh, you're Kylie! So you're Miss Wright's, niece.
Kylie?
That's my name. Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
She then flops down on the empty space beside me. Her little legs, still too short to touch the ground, swings in tune with the song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite the ones in our old neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I were both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion eventually. It's not completely as unpleasant as most people would imply. Kylie seems to be a well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
She points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street, where a kid is taking shots of something above him. It doesn't look to be birds because all there is on that side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cuter.
Agreed.
Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one.
Aww.
But won't you be late for school like this?
Big brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa. We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today. If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Before I'd know it, a smile has spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes, and they sure do, with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying to her feels like a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding? He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
She does look like Marionette, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's giving my friends and I a lot of trouble. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
She's British. She's British Marionette.
Maybe she just wants to be friends with you?
Kylie, I wish.
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What if she's just sad? Or maybe she just wants help. That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason. Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
I don't think that'll work either.
You haven't even tried yet. You sound like Rowan. You're just scared, mister.
Understandably so. That strikes a chord. Maybe it's the honesty in her tone, or simply the truth in the words itself. I don't know why, but I can't help it. I laugh. Loud enough to disturb an elderly couple taking a leisure walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, ain't it? Go full speed ahead, then backtrack when the going gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's all what I know. Once Dr. Navarro said I should be the first one willing to deal with my problems before anyone else. I didn't show up for our next appointment after that. But he's right. And though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but the kid makes a good point too. I've been so caught up thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't, or maybe there is, but that doesn't mean I should just leave it up to fate.
You better get to school, though. You'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
She's cute. In the distance, her brother calls for her, and I took that as a sign to leave. Got things to do, to face. Got things to do, to face. The first few steps, they say.
Nah, I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go. But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I give her a little pat on the head before hitting my way. A small gesture of thanks from a stranger she didn't know. She might have helped. She may not understand it now, even though at such a young age, she already has this understanding of things. But maybe when she's older. When the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
Why did her voice change?
With what?
Confused, I glanced back. Whatever cheer our little talk brought has vanished under the shadows, suddenly dancing in my eyes. The frigid air is most definitely not how the morning chill should feel like. Bitter, stinging, unwelcoming. And the kid.
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
I hate this.
Leave us alone! What did we do to you?
The response never comes, however. Because when I blinked, gone.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. But all that remains in there is the carefree smile of a child. None of the spite, none of the cold, bloody smile.
Nothing, huh? I really need to go, Kylie. It was nice meeting you.
Ooh.
See you again, mister!
I break into a run. I don't look back, not even as I bump into a couple passerbys as soon as I am out on the busy streets. Going insane, this is what it is. And if we don't do something soon, we all will be. The tremors follow me even as I get home. I had hoped a little stroll around the block for a few hours would help. Instead, I am assaulted with more images of her smile, and her loathing, and the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories have been sullied by her, and Ma's song no longer sounds as sweet as it meant to be. In the end, all I got is a sinking feeling. I will never be rid of her image, and another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun is already hanging low on the horizon when I make it back. For the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only, I didn't arrive to an empty room. Because as soon as I open the door, I am greeted by none other than...
Sup, Z-Man?
Okay, it was Ash.
I told you we should have called him before going here.
Oh, and Isabella?
It's fine.
It is Ashton I see first, sitting comfortably on my couch, munching on a bag of chips, with both feet propped atop the coffee table. Whether the proverbial stone has made a home at the pit of my stomach automatically falls right out the window at the side of him. But before any exasperation can set in, my attention is taken by the other occupant in the room. Isabella perches on the only other chair in the room, attempting to make herself smaller, it seems, from how closely she's hugging her arms against her. Nevertheless, she gives me a small smile when she notices my stare. Yet somehow, there ain't any warmth in it, like it's supposed to have.
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And, hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me because, of course, he has the gall to smirk knowing what he did. He pops in what's likely the very last chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it on the nearby trash. From her chair, Isabella shoots me an apologetic smile as soon as the foil hits the waste bin with a dull thunk. Common sense dictates that I should be angry, but after everything, having something normal play out in front of me, no matter how childish their antics can get, I can't bring myself to muster even a tidbit of it. Behind me, the television starts blaring the music for the end credits of a movie. They have been likely waiting for a while if Ash has gotten impatient enough to rummage through my cupboards and watch something.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Ash only shrugs at the question in my eyes. I can't be the only one who finds this vibe she's giving off to be odd, and the guy has no doubt already caught wind of it.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She casts a brief glance at Ash, and in an instant, he sits up. Every trace of amusement is gone from his face as he clasps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on him tells a different story altogether.
All right, you two, what's this about? I don't like those looks.
A short but tense pause follows. They're both stalling. Under normal circumstances, I'd wait. With these two, the more you force it, the more they'll clamp down on it. But as a handful of seconds continue to slip by, the unsettling feeling in me also grows with it. Soon it turns into impatience, Before I can demand a response, though, one of them finally speaks up. It's Isabella who breaks first.
We just thought we should check on you. After what happened to Rose,
Please don't tell me something happened again.
No, nothing. None so far.
Okay, I thought Rebecca was gone.
And we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
The bitter frustration in his tone is impossible to miss, but he catches it as soon as Isabella draws back. He allows himself a moment to breathe before dropping it, for one less harsh, more tempered, gentler.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
I already told you everything.
There must be something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine?
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
I look at him. Gasp. Gaped, more like. His serious expression doesn't waver despite the perplexed look I shoot him. There is a brief second I let pass as I wait for the heavens to fall somewhere. It doesn't come. The sky is still bathed in vibrant reddish hues as it waits for the night to arrive. Luxembourg is still the same busy city, and everything in my room still appears as it did a second ago, including the unnerving ticking of my wall clock. But if Ashton, calm, cool, collected, always logical Ashton, takes interest in this, something or someone must have blooped up somewhere.
Well, the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst. Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
I got taken off that one.
Oh.
You didn't say you were taken off your case.
I just got the news this morning. Apparently the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track.
Are you sure we should even be doing this?
Doing what exactly?
There's some place we'll visit after this.
Too vague for comfort, Ash. And please don't tell me you're bringing her with you.
His affirmation comes in the form of a stare, but that alone says all I need to know. While what I pointed out gives him a pause, though, and his voice is thick with hesitation when he addresses Isabella.
You know what? Zach's right, Isabella. You don't have to come with me.
It's not myself I'm worried about. It's you. I'll just do this myself, if it'll get you into more trouble with your superiors. At least I can make up an excuse why I need to be there.
Don't be ridiculous. You're not walking in there without me. Besides, I think it's a little too late to back out now. Have you two seen the news this morning?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
The change in the air around her, while small, cannot have gone unnoticed, and it takes every willpower not to ask. Probably the only thing reigning in my curiosity is the fact that Asim himself hasn't brought it up either.
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
He grabs the remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report. Another guy who has been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. Burned alive this time. Oddly, no fire has spread, and whatever damage has been contained within the place the body was found. The room itself, however, has been completely vandalized. Help me. Help me. Help me. Another murder, the authorities claimed. Isabella and I knew better. None of us shifts even after the report ends, but the room has suddenly felt stifling. Ashton's eyes have gone hooded. What appears to be restrained anger, and the remote in his hand creaks mildly under his grip. The stone is back in my stomach. A tiny little thing gripping at my insides, growing with every passing second as the dread sinks in. In the thick of it, Isabella's voice is what breaks the hush. A small weak thing on its own that wavers unevenly between words, but every syllable heavy with meaning.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Sweetie! When it all fades, all that's left in the air is her doubt and fear, while all we can do is cope. We gotta stay positive. We can fix this, but I'm ending it here because I am starving. But yeah, this is really interesting. I wonder how far in the road I am actually. So, oh, I skipped a big thing here. Shades, I will get food depending on how much is left. Oh, we still have quite a bit left. Okay, we still have quite a bit left. Yes. Yeah, this is a long game. And apparently with the other routes as well, I've only finished like half of what I could have done. So that's cool. But yeah. That's it from me. We had some good scares this time around. Yes. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Yeah. I'm hungry. I hope you guys take care of yourselves, relax, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see you guys. Wait, tomorrow's Wednesday? Ooh, okay, yeah. I might not be able to stream this tomorrow then. So maybe Friday I'll be able to see you guys again? So yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. But that's it for me. This is Fran the Fern, over and out. Lepo.